I'm just gonna start this controversially. MvM is the best PvE game mode ever. COD Zombies has nothing on this shit. Fight me in the comments all you want. Go ahead, do it. You all know I'm right. And with that out of the way, let's actually get on to my main points in this video. So if you're clicking on the video, I can assume you know what MvM is, and if not, I'll provide a very brief explanation. So you have a team of 6 people, and you've got missions with each mission having a set amount of waves. Each wave is made up of a bunch of different bots you gotta kill, small, medium, giants, and bosses. Robots drop money for you to upgrade yourself, and weapons making you stronger. Certain classes are better at certain things, like Scout being good for collecting money since it magnetizes to him, and Pyro being good for tank busting because you just do this. Yeah, I'm not joking, just looking up basically doubles your DPS. And finishing a mission gives you loot with the potential for cool and rare Australians. That's the gist of things, very simple loot, but lots of potential for diversity. And if you want to know more, go check out WheezyTF2. This guy, 1, makes really good videos, like genuinely full glaze, but 2, they can give you a good bit of info if you're new to MvM. Now, I've not really seen people dive too much into custom MvM, mostly because people play it for another pull of the wheel. Aw, dang it! Personally, I don't care too much about the loot, mainly because I'm not willing to pay $4 to play through a campaign, but also because I find the community missions more interesting and engaging. And I mentioned earlier that MvM is a 6-person game mode, but I wanted to touch on something that I've not seen anybody else ever cover, and that's 20-man MvM. And I can come up with a couple reasons as to why. The gambling aspect, of course, is a major reason, but also because there aren't really that many 20-man servers, so I don't think too many people know this actually exists in the first place. And this player count increase of 14 people sounds insane, and really, in all honesty, it is, but it allows for a lot of different things to happen. For example, Spy is very hard to play properly on a standard 6-man team since that one person is just much more important, and Spy specializes too hard into his niche of killing giants. But on a 20-man team, you've got plenty of other people to help cover your weaknesses. Spy is still incredibly polarizing to play, but you generally have more leeway. Circle stabbing is much harder, but actually having more people can help draw the giant's aggro, which sometimes allows for Spy to get as many free backstabs as he wants, but most of the time your team just fucks you over. And I love playing Spy in MvM on 20-man servers because, I mean, I'm just mentally ill, but you really just get more freedom to actually play the game. One of my favorite aspects of the larger team size is actually that flexibility in playstyle. Generally, most people play as you would in any regular Valve mission, but I've played a mission where we had 15 heavies at once and basically speedran that mission. It was super fun and not something you can do in normal MvM at all. Another thing though is that stands out to me is Pyro as a class, but why him specifically? Air Blast. I'm not even joking. Pyro's best damage dealing primary in MvM is by far the Flog, especially if you can do Flog cancels, giving you the invulnerability and more crits, but it comes with the drawback of no Air Blast. I prefer dealing more damage, so I run the Flog all the time, but being able to viably run multiple Pyros allows for some to go full damage, whereas others can spec more into the form of support, using Air Blast to push robots back and reflect high damage projectiles. You might get a buster to the face though, it's not uncommon. Meta 2 actually gets more freedom in playstyle instead of being mostly confined to the crits Krieg. Again, I like the bigger numbers, but all of the meta-guns are genuinely viable since they'll provide a niche. Stock for surviving big hits, crits is good for giving out those big hits, Vaccinator if you need to get out a ton of revives, and the Quick Fix also does revives, but mostly for topping off your teammates. Scout, Soldier, Demo, Heavy, NG, and Sniper, of course, have other options they can use unless you're intentionally handicapping yourself. There isn't much of a difference in playstyle, but they've all got their own merits, of course. If you like the video so far, please consider subscribing, because that really is the best way to help me out at the moment. Also keeps me motivated to keep making more videos. But that's all I got for now, so let's get back to the video. And a quick bit and segue into the next major point is team coordination. The server I play on is generally very friendly and has regulars, so people talk a good bit, but they also know the game very well. You can get help on what to do, certain strats for particular waves or missions, and just calming in general in case something happens that needs everyone's attention. Now for the point I'm most excited to yap about, 20-man missions. The general MvM mission is created with 6 people in mind, so there's only so much you can do difficulty-wise because there's a limit to how much 6 people can handle. The increase to 20 players allows for the most difficult missions I've ever played to take place. One of the most infamous ones is Hellspawn. This mission is incredibly difficult and genuinely requires a full team of 20 players to get through it because it is that difficult. You might be able to get away with 18 or 19 players if your entire team is experienced on this mission, but it'll still be difficult since that one player genuinely makes a difference on these missions. And a lot of these missions do have copious amounts of high damage spam, but it's not just constant overwhelming bullshit. It's pretty carefully planned out and tested. What I think is one of the more interesting aspects is that you need to stack a couple medics, like minimum 3 to 4 medics, and have each of them be almost perfectly cycling shields with each other to help deal with all the spam. This alone allows for some insane teamwork to take place, but there is of course the rest of your team. Unlike the more regular missions, you have to more carefully think out what class you want to play to combat certain things. You might want to have a Spy on this wave because there are medium steel gauntlet heavies that sponge a fuck ton of damage, but Spy can one-shot them. And let's say there's a couple tanks, but also a ton of small bots and giants at the same time. You can get a couple Pyros on the tank, but they need to be protected, so you get some medics, heavies, NGs, literally whatever else to hold the front line so you don't get pushed back. This is an incredibly interesting facet of these missions because there actually isn't one single way to do do it, and certain teams will be better with certain strategies over others. But the planning you need to do and the difficulty you have to deal with makes these missions unlike any other I've played. And I'm probably a masochist for liking these, but it's such a good feeling to finally beat a mission that can sometimes take literally over an hour. These maps are also very well made, with Underworld and Flowerfield being the two most popular 20-man mission maps. And for good reason too. Both maps look fantastic and the missions themselves are really fun. There is of course literally any other map to play on that have their own charm to them. And that's where the server I play on lets you add modifiers to make things more challenging, because the regular health values are not scaled properly. Most missions will have at least double health enabled just to make things more interesting, though sometimes you'll get up to triple or even quadruple health to make things really interesting. There are damage modifiers also that scale the same double, triple, and quadruple way, but are less common because they generally make things just not as fun. And what I like is that some missions go from an absolute cakewalk to Satan's greatest nightmare just by enabling double health. All in all, while the traditional 6-man teams and missions are really fun, I think 20-man just opens up endless opportunities. A good quote I got from another player is you actually get to push MvM as a game mode towards the upper bounds of its limits. And I like that, but I also think it allows for you to engage in more shenanigans, just to have a better time in general. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go more into detail on how some of these missions work, or like a full breakdown of them, or even just more MvM content in general. I'd love to do any of that. But that's all I've got for now, so have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and I hope to see you again real soon.